Hey, what's up, guys? It's Damien with Damien Knows Marketing from Baseline ROI. Hey, listen, so, once again, I'm always talking about experiences I have during the week or that day when I'm coming from meeting with a client. This was a really, really good week. We have yet another restaurant coming on from one of the major groups that we work with here in the Washington, D.C. area. And in talking to another client this week, they have a great website. It converts. Let me take it back. They have a great website. It can be found. And we did some touch-up work from a long time ago on the site, just kind of give you the background. And but he really doesn't know. He wants to spend more money for us to build another site for him. And we're trying not to. And how many companies would say that? Like, look, listen, hey, you want to build an account? You want to give us $1,500, retainer to do that, plus whatever extra it costs? Who wouldn't take that? Well, we wouldn't. We don't know. Like he wants a site like a buddy of his who, I guess is, just a kind of a mentor, etc. But we could take the money. That's not the point. But the point is that he has no idea, right, as to how well his site converts because he's never, ever driven traffic to the site. He does get some potential clients coming to the website, but the number one keyword to get, we're talking less than 200 visits a month, less than, maybe even 100. And they're all coming for his name. And so there's people that know him that he's probably referred to, talked to, people checking him out. That's a whole nother half-hour segment we could do on, how people use your site and why they come to your site and how to track that. But anyway, so he doesn't get a lot of traffic from people that don't know him. And so he doesn't really know how well his site converts. And so what we did was when we helped them make some changes to their site a while back, we put in, call to actions, which they didn't have. We put everything above the fold so that, most of the information can be found that potential customers may come to a site. They can find that very easily because it's sitting right in front of them, things like that. And so, we're trying to get him to do some paid search, add SEO into his site. We do a little bit, do some social media stuff. We're trying to get him to just find ways to actually drive traffic to his website from people that don't know him, and then measure that traffic to see what he's actually getting from it and how well people are converting. And then if he wants to buy a new site or you have us do it, absolutely we do. I mean, we do it now. Technically, we would do it, right? But we're trying to get him to measure first, right? And not just blindly based on a feeling that he may have as to his site converting or not converting based on its aesthetics. We've run, this is no BS. We've handled millions in paid search and social media marketing over the last 16 years, let's say. And, you just don't know. I've seen crappy sites that it look like, and this is way before Wikipedia, but looks like, just a really, really, really bad site with bad artwork. It almost looked like DOS, and some of you guys who are watching this may not even know what DOS is, but like that old black screen with black screen with green writing. Like, it was that basic. And the customer was not only getting the customer was converting it like 60% or something like that, just back in the day. And part of that was there was much competition on the website, but the other part of that was it was just a simple site that once again, the whole site told them exactly what they want. There wasn't much to click on, maybe like a home, services, about us. That was about it, right? A little 3-page site. It rocked. It rocked forever. It rocked for, that site probably rocked for 5-6 years. And until we just made some changes because of, they kind of had to, because of, people started using their cell phones more, whatever the case may be. And, the site wasn't optimized for that. So anyway, the whole point of this is, know kind of what you want your site for, right? And then make the content and build the site towards that. If you're a small business that relies on, that does a service, or sells a service or a product, and then maybe that customer doesn't come back and see you for a year or two, then you're constantly replacing customers, right? Excuse me. And then therefore, your website is a, and this has been a long time, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but your website is a very valid way to get new customers from, daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be. Especially if you're a service business or you sell products or whatever the case may be. Your website should be converting traffic into phone calls, which are leads, emails, or whatever the case may be, or it should be someone should land on and they should be able to buy a product. And so that leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about. First thing would be like, get a website. Drive before you go making changes to your website. Make it based off of results. Whether the site is not being found or seen, and when you put in your name, or not even your name, but definitely your name, but for the services or product that you offer, if you're not popping up for that, then yeah, you absolutely want to make some changes to your website. And then if you're not converting, and so what a conversion is, we're talking about conversions. What conversions are when someone lands on your website. If you're a service business, then you want them to pick up the phone and say, hey, if you're a plumber, hey, Mr. Plumber, how you doing? This is Donnie. I need plumbing services. My faucet's broken, right? If you're that would be a conversion. Someone to pick up the phone. Hopefully you have a chat bot on your website. If you guys aren't available, the chat box with AI can, talk to that person and then convert that visitor into submitting information so that you guys can give them a call back. That would be one way. If they land on your website and there's a form, maybe they're in the office and they can't talk right now, but they need the dishwasher clean, right? Or fixed. And so, they're filling out a form and saying, hey, can you give me a call after 5? That would be considered a lead. And of course the phone calls, right? And so those would be conversions. If you sell a product, if you sell widgets, right, and they're, $159 per widget, and so as you sell those widgets, you want to be sure that you're tracking, the number of visits that you get coming to your website and the number of people, percentage of people that actually purchase something when they visit your site. So if you get 100 people to your website, and you get 40 people buy your product or pick up the phone, or let's go with the buy your product. 40 people buy your product. For every 100 people that visit your site, then you got a 40% conversion rate. Click the sale, and so that gets into ROAS and all those kind of things. So nowadays everything is based on data. We no longer want to just guess at things or do things because you just think it's working. I mean, there's too much data. And there's just far more efficient ways to run a business than to kind of go off your gut. And sometimes your gut will be correct. And, it's based on, maybe you don't have the concrete data, but just based on the traffic and the number of sales you're getting, et cetera. But, it makes a lot more sense to have real concrete numbers as to number of visitors, to number of sales, with Google Analytics and whatever other tracking, systems that you have, or you can have, attached to the back of your site to just measure that. And data is everything. One of the things that we do, we use data to make just about every decision, as we use data to make just about every decision when we make changes to our customers' campaigns, whether it's removing keywords, if we're doing pay-per-click, whether we're looking at the traffic and what keywords people are using for SEO and what they're showing up for, and then looking at if that word actually converts at a higher rate than say another keyword or phrase, and that's from the SEO side of things, and social media as well. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents on that. Again, just wanted to talk to you about what we see in the field, and aesthetically pleasing sites are not always the best converting websites, and so yeah. You don't know until you know. And so that's how we want to make decisions. So if you have any questions, of course, hit us up at Baseline ROI. If you're looking for advertising or marketing, definitely hit the team over at Baseline ROI. They're legit. We know what we're doing. And we worked with just about every single kind of business there is over the last 18 years or so, or let me go back to 15 years or so. And And, we do have our specialties, but, it doesn't mean that we can't, at least maybe guide you in a direction to someone who may be able to help you if we don't feel we can do the best job for you. Peace.